Have you ever wondered if there's a universal report card for civilizations, not just for us, but for any life anywhere in the cosmos? Well, today we're diving into exactly that. It's called the Kardashev Scale, and you can think of it as a civilization's final exam. And it all kicks off with this one, seemingly simple question. But trust me, the answer is going to take us on a wild ride to the very edge of physics, engineering, and our own imagination about what humanity could even become. To even begin to answer that, we need a yardstick. And way back in 1964, a Soviet astrophysicist named Nikolai Kardashev gave us the ultimate cosmic measuring tool, a way to rank civilizations on a scale that is just truly epic. Kardashev's core idea was as simple as it was brilliant. He said, forget about culture or politics. The single greatest measure of how advanced a civilization is how much energy it can control. It all comes down to pure power, and he broke it down into three major types.
Okay, so a Type 1 civilization has mastered its home planet. It uses all of the energy from its star that hits the surface. A Type 2? Well, they've gone way beyond that. They harness the entire energy output of their star. And a Type 3, they command the power of their entire galaxy. The ambition here is just breathtaking.
So obviously, the next question is, where are we? After hearing about these galactic empires, you might be thinking we don't even make it onto the chart. So let's bring this cosmic scale right back down here to Earth.
See, the original scale was just these three big steps, but then the legendary Carl Sagan came along and refined it. He pointed out that it shouldn't just be three separate boxes. It should be a smooth, continuous scale. And that's fantastic because it means we can find our exact spot on the spectrum right now. So where are we? Well, based on all the energy we use across the entire globe, humanity scores a 0.60. Yep, we're not even a Type 1 civilization yet. In cosmic terms, we're basically still in kindergarten.
And here is the real kicker. Going from our current 0.60 to a full 1.0 might not sound like a huge jump, but this scale is logarithmic. That means to reach Type I status, we need to increase our energy use by a factor of 10,000. That is an almost unimaginable leap in power.
So how in the world could we do that? What would it actually take to make that kind of monumental jump and become a true Type 1 civilization? Let's run through the possibilities. Let's think of it like a horse race for the future of energy. We're going to look at all the contenders and see which ones even have a shot at making it to the finish line. All right, first up, fossil fuels. They're a non-starter. At a 10,000 times demand, we would burn through every last drop and chunk of coal in a flash. Not to mention the catastrophic environmental side effects. So yeah, they're out.
What about wind and wave power? I mean, they're fantastic technologies, but they're really just secondhand solar energy. If you add up their total, absolute maximum potential, it just doesn't get us there. Not even close.
And it's pretty much the same story for geothermal and tidal power. They're incredibly powerful forces of nature for sure, but they just don't operate on the planetary scale we'd need to become a Type 1. So after that process of elimination, we're left with two absolute heavyweights. In one corner, you've got nuclear fusion, literally creating a miniature star right here on Earth. And in the other corner, you have solar power, tapping directly into that giant fusion reactor in our sky.
You know, the solar option seems almost elegant in its simplicity. I mean, the very definition of a Type 1 civilization is using all the sunlight that hits your planet. So you figure, hey, just tile the world with solar cells and boom, you're there.
But yeah, if it sounds a little too good to be true, it is. There's a fundamental, absolutely unavoidable problem, and it has nothing to do with technology and everything to do with the basic laws of our universe.
This isn't a problem of finding enough silicon for panels or building better fusion reactors. The problem is thermodynamics. It's a cosmic rule that you just can't break, no matter what energy source you choose.
And here's the key part. Every single watt of that 10,000 times energy increase doesn't just, vanish after we use it. It has to go somewhere. And in the end, it all becomes one thing. Waste heat.
Let's really game this out. If we actually became a Type 1 civilization using only perfectly efficient solar panels, all that waste heat would be staggering. It would raise the Earth's average temperature by 24 degrees Celsius, that's 43 degrees Fahrenheit. Large parts of our planet would become completely uninhabitable.
So you might think, okay, fine, forget solar. We'll just use nuclear fusion. But here's the thing. That actually makes the heat problem worse, because you'd still have all the regular heat the Earth absorbs from the sun, plus all the new waste heat from your thousands of fusion reactors. You're just piling heat on top of more heat.
This planetary fever, this is the unavoidable price of success. And it leaves a young Type 1 civilization with very few options for survival, and all of them are pretty extreme.
So you're left with two paths. One, you build a planet-sized air conditioner and basically live indoors, an almost unimaginable feat of engineering. Or path two, you expand. You spread your civilization and its massive energy needs across the entire solar system, dissipating the heat. This is probably the only path that's actually viable in the long run.
And this isn't just a fun sci-fi thought experiment. It has huge implications for how we actually search for alien life. It helps scientists define the techno-signatures they should be looking for. Maybe we shouldn't just be listening for a radio signal. Maybe an advanced civilization looks like a planet that's just glowing in the infrared, desperately radiating away all its excess heat.
And that leaves us with this one last fascinating thought. If graduating to a Type 1 civilization forces you to either totally re-engineer your homeworld or abandon it, then maybe the clear sign of intelligence in the cosmos isn't a radio message saying hello. Maybe it's the faint, telltale glow of a world struggling with the fever that comes from its own success.